where an evil mother-in-law who brutally bashed her own son's wife has been found guilty of murder.
What was supposed to be the happiest day of their lives ended in tragedy so dark, no one could have imagined it. A wedding filled with joy turned into a scene of heartbreak and horror, all because of a secret buried for 10 long years. What could drive a groom's mother to destroy everything in one unthinkable moment? Stay with me, because the truth behind this twisted love story will leave you speechless. Before the morning sun had fully broken, the air already felt strange, thick, watchful, charged with something that didn't belong to Joy. In the Lee Joy home, everything was perfect on the surface. The scent of flowers drifted through the halls, the sound of laughter floated up the staircase, and the bride, Kira LaJoy, smiled through the mirror as her mother fastened her veil. Yet behind that smile lingered a tremor, something she couldn't quite name. A whisper from the past, faint but persistent, pressing against the edges of her happiness. Across town, another woman was awake too. Evelyn Collins, the groom's mother. Her hands trembled as they hovered over a worn, leather-bound diary. The pages were yellowed, the handwriting unmistakable, her late husband's. Terrence Collins, gone nearly 10 years, had filled those pages with words that had now shattered her world. Every confession, every moment of weakness, every name. One name, Kira. The discovery had ripped something vital from Evelyn. For 10 years she had lived as a widow, dignified and composed, unaware that the same young woman now marrying her son had once shared a secret night with her husband. Now, she could not unsee it. She could not breathe without feeling it twist inside her. And as the morning light slipped through her curtains, one truth hardened in her chest. This wedding would not happen. When Evelyn arrived at the Lee Joy residence, there was no warmth, no pretense of civility. Her presence alone changed the temperature of the room. She asked to speak to Kira privately, and in the quiet of the garden, the truth bled into the open. The confession struck like a hammer. The affair, the guilt, the shame her husband had carried to his grave. For Kira, it was a past sin she had tried to forget. For Evelyn, it was a wound reopened, infected by betrayal. In that moment, two lives diverged into darkness. One woman carried unbearable guilt, the other, unbearable rage. That night, Kira lay awake in her childhood bed, staring into the dark. She told herself it was over. Tomorrow, she would walk down the aisle, smile through the tears, and start anew. Across the city, Evelyn sat under the yellow light of her bedroom lamp. The diary opened before her, her late husband's words echoing in her head. Somewhere between heartbreak and fury, her grief turned into purpose. If Kira would not stop the wedding, she would. By noon the next day, the Holy Cross Baptist Church was alive with color and song. Guests laughed, cameras flashed, children chased petals down the aisle. But beneath the beauty was a quiet tension, something unspoken that seemed to follow Kira like a shadow. She looked radiant, but her eyes darted to the doors again and again, waiting for someone, fearing she'd come. And she did. Evelyn stepped from her car like a ghost in daylight. The whispers began before she reached the steps. Even the music faltered when her voice cut through the air, steady, cold, and final. There would be no ceremony. The crowd fell silent as she laid bare the secret that had haunted her. The diary, the affair, the betrayal. She pointed at the bride, her son's future wife, and told the world what should have stayed buried. It was like time fractured. Faces turned pale, gasps filled the air, and the groom, Darius, looked at Kira, desperate for a denial that never came. Her silence was an answer no one wanted. The weight of it pressed down on everyone. Love twisted into disgust, respect into pity. But even then, even shattered, Darius clung to hope. He took her hand, defying his mother's words, and led her inside the church. He thought that if they just said their vows, if they just believed hard enough, love could erase the past. But some wounds don't close, they fester. Inside the church, the air was heavy, still. Guests sat stiff and silent. The priest's voice trembled as he spoke of unity, love, and forgiveness, words that struck Evelyn like blows. She sat alone in the front pew, her hands gripping her purse, her mind spinning between grief and rage. The diary's words flashed before her eyes. The image of Kira in white, pure, holy, undeserving, was unbearable. When the priest began the vows, Evelyn's body moved before her mind could stop it. Her hand slipped into her bag. The glint of metal caught the colored light of the stained glass. Then chaos, a single motion, a gasp, a scream that split the silence in two. Kira stumbled back, her bouquet scattering white roses across the altar as red spread through her gown. For a moment, no one moved. It was too unreal, too impossible. Then came the panic, the cries, the running feet, the priest shouting for help. And Evelyn stood still, her face drained of everything human. The knife gleamed in her hand. Her son knelt beside the woman he loved, screaming her name through sobs that barely sounded human. Her veil, once white as promise, now lay soaked in blood beside him. By the time the sirens reached the church, Kira was gone. Evelyn didn't run. She didn't resist. She walked out into the sunlight as calmly as if the service had ended. When the police arrived, she said only one thing: that Kira had taken everything from her, her husband, her peace, and now her son. The diary confirmed the affair, its pages filled with Terence Collins's torment. It did not justify what Evelyn had done. It only deepened the tragedy, a circle of guilt that began with betrayal and ended with death. In court, she claimed she never meant to kill Kira. She only wanted to stop the wedding, to make her son see the truth. But the knife told a different story. So did the silence that followed each word she spoke. Darius never forgave her. He left Tulsa, sold the houses, and vanished into another life. The church remained closed for months, its wooden pews stained with memories that no one could pray away. In the end, this was never just a story about jealousy or rage. It was about how one night, one terrible choice, can echo across years, consuming everyone it touches. Kira had tried to move on, to bury her past beneath love and ceremony. But secrets have a way of clawing their way back to the surface no matter how deep they're buried. Evelyn Collins sits in a gray cell today, her Bible open beside the same diary that destroyed her. She reads them both, line by line, as if one might cancel the other. She says she did it for love, but what she really did was let grief turn her into something she never was: a killer. And Kira, whose life ended before she ever had the chance to redeem her mistake, became a symbol of how easily joy can be snatched away when the past refuses to die. When detectives closed the file, one note was left on the final page. It read, "Some secrets don't rest. They wait, patient, silent, until the moment you believe you've escaped them. Then they come for you." A wedding became a funeral. A mother's love became a curse. And a secret buried for 10 years finally tore a family and a community apart.